In what has been a disaster season for the Raptors, we finally have some good news as Scottie Barnes has been selected as an injury replacement for the NBA All-Star Game. So in this video, we're going to react to the news and investigate what kind of boost this might give the team and the player for the rest of the season and beyond. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel completely dedicated to providing you with Toronto Raptors coverage and videos just like this, as well as our live stream watch parties for every Raptors game. Drop a like if you enjoyed this one along the way and subscribe for more Raptors content just like this. And important as always to stick around to the end of the video, but today we're going to be giving away some details for a Scottie Barnes All-Star jersey giveaway, so stick around to that point. But Scottie Barnes has been named, yes, into the NBA All-Star Game after being selected as an injury replacement. Joel Embiid is going to be missing a long period of time, potentially the rest of the season. Julius Randle is also going to be out for a couple of weeks here at least. So the NBA has gone for two new players in the Eastern Conference All-Stars, and selected in this position is Trae Young and, of course, our guy, Scottie Barnes. And yes, it's been a disaster season for the Raptors. Not a lot to really get excited about. That's a difficulty here. Any sort of problems that we have right now with the team, we have to convince ourselves, we have to say to ourselves here that it's about the long-term game. It's about being patient, but it's really tough to do that when you're such a big fan of the team. You want to enjoy, you want the experience right now, you crave that sort of excitement. Well, this can provide that little bit of excitement, I believe, to Raptors fans, because the 22-year-old, the third-year player, is going to be in his first All-Star game here. And yes, it might be as an injury replacement. Yes, I understand that, but years down the line, we're not going to be thinking about that. We're not going to be thinking, oh, he made it in his third year. He made it as a 22-year-old, but he made it as an injury replacement. No, this goes down on his resume as an NBA All-Star appearance, and to do it at 22 years old, the first player from his draft class to make an NBA All-Star appearance, it is absolutely magical to see, and I am so happy and I am so excited for the player. It's got to be difficult for him as well. You have to consider for these players when they come into the league. They've been winning their whole life. They are so good at basketball. Think about all these youth teams they played on, their college teams they played on. They are so used to winning basketball games. They are so used to being on good teams. So it's difficult sometimes to deal with periods like this where maybe the team isn't as good as you want it to be. And for Scottie Barnes, dealing with all the change, one of his best friends, OG Anunoby, getting traded away right before the turn of the year. One of his best teammates, Pascal Siakam, getting traded a couple of weeks ago, and he's been thrown into this new role as the first option. And maybe things aren't going swimmingly thus far, but perhaps, as I said in the intro, this could really be the boost that this team and this player needs to get through the rest of the season. I want to comment once again on the All-Star appearance here. I think that I'm actually quite surprised that Scottie Barnes was selected as an injury replacement. Oftentimes in the modern NBA, records are very much prioritized here. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think records should be as prioritized as they have been in the last few years, but I was very shocked to see Scottie Barnes selected as an injury replacement, primarily because of the selection process associated with injury replacements. When it comes to All-Star reserves, the people who are not starting in the All-Star game, it comes from the coach's selection, but for injury replacement, it is completely up to Commissioner Adam Silver, and for the second season in a row, he has chosen a Toronto Raptors player as an injury replacement after Pascal Siakam made the All-Star team last season. So, very nice to see for Scottie Barnes, and very nice of Adam Silver to throw Scottie Barnes in the mix, despite the Raptors being very much below 500 on the season and having the 6th worst record in the NBA at the time of the selection. But you absolutely have to understand why he was selected. After all, this is an individual achievement. This is a bit of an individual accolade here. Scottie Barnes showing that more than anybody here. I mean, if Scottie Barnes is producing numbers like this on a bad team, you really have to give him the plaudits here, because look at these statistics. After the not-so-great second season, he has come back with absolute fury here, averaging over 20 points per game this season on some very nice efficiency, 48% shooting from the field, and my goodness, who would have thought on 4 to 5 3-point attempts per game, Scottie Barnes would be averaging 36.5% from beyond the arc? Well beyond the midway point of his third NBA season. That is just absolutely spectacular. But along the way with that, Scottie Barnes producing some great numbers in other categories. 8.1 rebounds per game, 5.8 assists per game. What a player the Toronto Raptors have on their hands here. And the timing of this announcement is rather strange, because it's in the week where it really feels as though this is the most scrutiny Scottie Barnes has ever faced in his Raptors career. It was a difficult second season where he kind of plateaued of sorts after his rookie season. But even then, in that second season where we felt as though there was always more that Scottie Barnes could offer this team, Raptors fans never really gave him the scrutiny. But now all of a sudden the scrutiny is really starting to come out right now. People suggesting Scottie Barnes can't be a first option on an NBA team. People suggesting Scottie Barnes is not the player we think he is. He is not the player that we should be banking our future on. He should not be the centerpiece of the team going forward. This core isn't it. Well, to all of that, I mean, look at this. This guy is an all-star. He's a 22-year-old all-star. 22 years, 6 months, becomes the youngest all-star in Toronto Raptors history. And for all of like the older crowd out there, some of the younger crowd, like if you're younger than me here, you maybe don't quite like understand. Like, you know, you've grown up in such an amazing period of basketball here. I'm 24 years old, so I've experienced, a lot of great basketball with the Toronto Raptors. But before this great period that started in 2013, like the Raptors were never like really ever good. And this team doesn't just get all-stars. There are not that many all-stars in the history of the Toronto Raptors. So to have one is so special, and to have one at this age, I mean, it really does give you that sort of sense that maybe this team can get back to where they were in 2019 at some point. And it's going to be a process. We're going to have to be patient. But with this player leading the team, who knows how far they can go. So let's talk about what sort of boost this could give the team for the rest of the season. You can kind of tell things are down right now. Morale seems to be pretty low. A lot of head down stuff. A lot of maybe not working as hard as you can be. It's been a very difficult time for the Raptors, especially this week leading into the trade deadline. A lot of the players in the team don't know what their status is going to be on Friday. Will they be on the Raptors on Friday? If they are, does the team even want them? Like the amount of players up in trade discussions right now, there could be some absolute fireworks that go off in the next day or so here as we get towards the February 8th trade deadline 100%. So it's an incredibly difficult period to navigate for all of these players. I, for one, am quite excited for all of the dust to settle on the trade deadline. All of the players know where they stand. All of the players know what their role is. They know what they're going to be doing for the rest of the season. They know where they're going to be playing. It's easier for the coaches to then fill out specific roles for each player, communicate those roles to the players, build up a rotation that they can stick with a little bit more often. All of these things are going to be great once the trade deadline concludes itself. But also, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to bounce back. What is it? The Raptors have lost something like 12 of their last 15, 13 of their last 15. It's really been a disaster period for the team. And that has to weigh on players. Like, winning is contagious just as much as losing is contagious. I mean, it sucks to say something like that, but it's really hard to dig yourself out of the hole. But if you look at the video of Darko revealing to the team that Scottie Barnes, for the first time in his career, is going to be an NBA All-Star, you saw how excited, how hyped up his teammates were to support Scottie Barnes. And that sort of morale stuff is going to help this team. That's going to help with this young core and building chemistry. And hopefully this is just a nice little flair for the team to get things going for the rest of the season. I don't think it's going to be a great rest of the season. All things considered, the Raptors likely might even get worse beyond the trade deadline. And at some point during the season, the considerations into that top 6 protected pick are going to come into play. And some players are going to be missing more games than you would expect due to injuries or resting. So for the Raptors, it's been a disaster season. It's likely to continue in that vein, but something that we will always be able to look back on for this 2023-2024 season is that it was Scottie Barnes' first All-Star season. I say first because at 22 years old, in that loaded draft class, being the first player to come out of that draft and make an All-Star team, winning Rookie of the Year out of that draft class, like the criticism that Scottie Barnes has been getting recently is absolutely ridiculous. Consider what this player has accomplished in just 2.5 seasons in the NBA. This is a player that you can count on. This is a player that you can build around. He's provided the evidence, at least, that you should give him the opportunity to be the first option. You should give him the opportunity to be the centerpiece of this team going forward. Have some patience here, because being an all-star and getting to an all-star level is incredibly difficult. But to do it this early in your NBA career, especially after being considered an extremely raw prospect coming to NBA, is nothing short of sensational. The Raptors have an extremely special player on their hands. It's time to really give him that support. I cannot wait to see him in the NBA All-Star Game. So what do you make of Scottie Barnes' selection for the All-Star Game? Is it deserved? Is it undeserved? Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Drop a like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more Raptors content, and hey, I said in the intro, we have some giveaway details for a Scottie Barnes All-Star jersey, but it gets better. 2 Scottie Barnes All-Star jerseys are going to be given away to the Amateur Hour Army here. It's going to be a 17,000 subscriber special here. When this channel hits 17,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away 2 Scottie Barnes All-Star jerseys. One of them will come directly from myself, and one of them will come from one of the best members in this community here at 905 Yada, is always out in the streams, is a member in the community, and has offered also to give away a Scottie Barnes jersey to celebrate this amazing news. So big shout outs to at 905 Yada. More details are going to come when the channel hits 17,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed yet, please make sure you do so, and in return you get some great Raptors content as well. I'll see you again next time for another video.